laundryman, when will you return? Having spoiled my wedding jacket and broken the buttons and their brackets, O laundryman, when will you return? After pocketing small handkerchiefs and burning holes in shirts with mischief, O laundryman, when will you return? Are you laughing? Haven't you had such an experience with your laundryman? Yes? But did you ever compose a poem like this? No? Well, it does require an imagination like that of Keshav Kumar. Not just the imagination of a poet, but that of a parody master. Haven't you heard of Keshav Kumar? He is none other than Prahlad Keshav Atre, the well-known writer, playwright, orator, journalist, filmmaker, a great personality in Maharashtra. The poem I quoted at the beginning is from his poetry collection Jhenduchi Phule or Marigold Flowers. It contains his parodies of the poems of several prominent Marathi poets. In fact, such subtle and spot-on parodies had never appeared in Marathi before, nor since this collection was published, say critics. We shall appreciate this collection of parodies by Atre today in the 22nd episode of Grantha Yatra. The poems in this collection were written in 1922. Let me tell you the story of its creation in Atre's own words. In his preface to this collection of poetry, titled How I Became a Parody Writer, Atre says, "When I started writing poetry, the modern poetry was prospering. The call of Keshav Sut's trumpet was reverberating through the surroundings. The dawn of Balkavi's imagination had just appeared on Maharashtra's horizon. Govindagraj had struck the note of his soul to sing the songs of love with great enthusiasm. Poet B's drums and Tambe's flute had created a sweet and auspicious atmosphere in the temple of the goddess of inspiration. We were drunk with the intense effects of the new poetry. We were high with a kind of arrogance filling our heads." In the previous episodes of Grantha Yatra, we have seen how this new kind of poetry that did not obey the strict rules of word count or meters had blossomed in Marathi at the beginning of the 20th century. On this background, in the 1920s, the Ravi Kiran Mandal was established in Pune. Poets such as Madhav Julian, Sridhar and Manorama Ranade, Yashwant, Gajanan Madkholkar, Girish, V.D. Ghate started the practice of coming together every week to write and read poetry. These poets tried to free the Marathi poetry from the fetters of Pandit legacy and to assimilate foreign poetic forms such as ghazals and sonnets. They were successful to some extent, but at times these efforts resulted in undue artificiality in their poetry. Atre, who was intoxicated with the poetry of Balkavi, Gadkari and Tambe, did not like this new kind of poetry at all. Through his parodies, he pointed out the flaws like extreme emotions and grandstanding in the poems of these poets. In his preface, he writes further, "It was the month of May in the year 1922. The schools were closed for the summer holidays. Me and my few friends, who were also school teachers, would regularly meet at a certain place. A new thin collection of poetry by the poets of Ravi Kiran Mandal was published around that time. For the next 7 to 8 days, we could not stop talking about it. One of us would select one of the poems and would read it aloud with exaggerated actions and in such a manner that its flaws would become particularly obvious. The rest of us would then laugh out loud and enjoy the resulting mirth. All this had such an effect on me that one day I had a strong attack of inspiration and I began to blabber lines of parody one after the other. This led to a flood of mirth and laughter at our club. The Marigold Flowers were born out of this state of mind." In one of the poems in this collection, Atre targets the proliferating breed of people in Maharashtra who were hungry for fame and who called themselves poets despite having no imagination. Having hardly written poems 9 and gotten them published in a magazine, The dude declares he is a poet now, fit to shake up the whole town. But the dude has plagiarized from 4 others and embellished his creative coffers. Has no original words even for abuse. How do I describe his poverty of muse? In his poem, The Poet and the Clerk, he castigates the poets who write boring humdrum verse. The proud clerk addressed the poet with a smirk. I see my reflection in you as if we were brothers. We both scribble away day and night. Our fingers are marked with black ink so bright. I mourn for the sake of earning at odd times, and you indulge in a poetic laments at all times. All that is true, dear friend, said the poet, but my stupidity does not earn me a full wallet. Atre was especially brutal towards the poets who indulge in plagiarism. In his poem The Poet and the Thief, he narrates the tale of a thief who sets out to commit robbery at midnight. While the whole town is asleep in darkness, he spots a light in one of the houses. Curious, he decides to inspect and witnesses a spectacle where a poet is writing at a table surrounded by books. The poet is delighted to see the thief, for he needs an audience to read his freshly penned verses. But the thief confesses that he is out for committing a crime and not fit for the proposed honor. But the poet says, You steal jewels of gold, and I steal the musings old. You eye diamonds and pearls, and I gather the shining words. Donning the dark clothes in the dark night, you roam the streets in vain, risking your life. Look how the treasure lies open in my sight. I loot it with a grin. Who bothers to question my right? He wrote a parody on poet B's famous poem, Champak Tree is Silent, in these words. The champak doesn't talk, the champak doesn't walk, the champak grieves, no one honors him. Perfume he sprays and musk he swallows, but will they their fragrance bestow if he lacks originality? Atre thus abhors hypocrisy. He mocks phony obituaries in his poem Kader Khan. He introduces the poem by saying, this obituary is addressed to a Pathan fighter who was killed during the Hindu-Pathan riots in Mumbai. Who lies here, Kader Khan Kabuliwala? The mighty body is prostrate, spread 6 feet and more. They lie prone there, shoes with nails galore. The fitting tight trousers are torn and of use no more. The Pathani bowl too now is quiet and a sight sour. The whiskers dip in the muck that the kids pull and pluck. The raisins in the pocket, someone steals them with luck. Kader Khan Kabuliwala. Atre never liked the experimentation with Persian words by the poets belonging to the Ravikiran Mandal. In the preface he says, the Persian fashion launched by Ravikiran Mandal was totally incompatible to the pure tradition of new poetry established by the followers of Keshav Sut. Imagine someone begins singing God Save the King when others were engrossed in singing the praise of Lord Ganesh. That's what I felt when reading their poetry. He condemned this new trend through his poem Bravery on Muharram, where he ridiculed the simultaneous use of words derived from Sanskrit and Persian in the same poem. गेल्याच सालचा होता सण मंगल मोहरमचा कोई बी बात वदण्याचा दिल चाहिल ते करण्याचा बेहोश धुंद पडण्याचा मजलशी आणि जलशांचा. It was only last year that the occasion of Muharram was here, an occasion to say whatever came to mind and follow the heart's desire. To give in to celebration and participate in procession, they began erecting taboots. With a happy heart, the merchant began making laddus, haidos dulabe dhula. The combination of Sanskrit and Persian words that he uses in this verse is impossible to translate in English. Similarly, Atre berated the propensity of some poets to use heavy phrases originating in Sanskrit when writing on ordinary topics of daily life. His poem, To the Fly in the Teacup, where he makes fun of this tendency, is famous. Again, his use of stylized phrases is difficult to translate into English. आई नरांग मल शोणित भक्षिके जनु विनाशक जंतु सुरक्षिके असु परीक्षित हारक तक्षिके क्या हुआ अफसोस मक्षिके. Atre's skill of parody did not spare even those poets whom he admired. Balkavi's famous poem, A lovely golden hue spreads across the eastern ocean, who throws to the sky a fistful of vermilion, was turned into the following parody. Oh, who paints his face thus red and peeps like an actor through the curtains? What dawn! He is the bodyguard of young sun, who wears the red uniform of velvet. He also turns his attention to the contemporary politics. Is that a gathering of the red flag bearers who fight and scratch each other's faces red, or some patriot lynched by the gathering in Pune whose turban dust rises to heaven? This was the time when mediocre love poetry was being written by the dozen in Marathi. Atre wrote his poem Love's Preserve to mock those poems. He brought her the roses every day from the garden or the market. When the young woman did not respond to his overtures even after 7 months of this daily routine, the lover gathers up courage and asks her if his daily gifts of roses have all gone waste. In response, she gives him a jar and says, "Oh no, they were not wasted. Look, I have made a preserve out of them." For a moment he fainted but regained his composure, returned quickly, hoisting the jar on his shoulder. Oh, I have spent so much for the sake of love. Even if I failed, why waste this preserve? Atre even parodied the revered Ode to Mind by Samartha Ramdas. O mind, never walk the path so straight, always stumble with a drunk gait. Even when the traffic is flowing thick, do not give up your quiet pace so quick. Next time when you are driving and get frustrated with pedestrians who seem to amble on the road without a care, remember that they have read this poem by Atre. He continues to give more useful sermons to the mind. Finish off the plates one after the other, pass on the bill to your friend or brother. Turn your pockets inside out and say you have lost your wallet, no doubt. Atre also criticized the contemporary traditions and unnecessary ceremonies. He commented on the lengthy wedding rituals in his poem, A Poetic Gift to the Bride and Groom. If only they'd limit the rituals to bare minimum, heaven will come down within reach of everyone. Although Atre wrote parodies, he was gifted with the inspiration of a true poet. Only a poet who has mastery over language and who possesses a discerning mind to understand good poetry can write powerful parody. Many poems in this collection are a testimony to these qualities in Atre's poetry. His poem, For a Loaf of Bread, is one such verse where the meaning is skillfully revealed through a clever use of alliteration. धाव पाव देवा आता देई एक पाव, मारू चहावरती कसामी कोरडाच ताव. Have mercy, O God, and grant me a loaf of bread. How can I feast only on a cup of tea instead? The wife is irate in the absence of the bread. In vain I plowed through the town in dread. We have with us today Professor Nilima Gundi, who will tell us more about parody as a form of poetry.
नमस्कार, मी निलिमा गुंडी. मराठी काव्य क्षेत्रामध्ये झेंडूची फुले या केशव कुमार म्हणजेच प्र के अत्रे यांच्या विडंबनपर कविता संग्रहाला विलक्षण प्रसिद्धी मिळाली. 1925 मध्ये प्रकाशित झालेल्या या पुस्तकाच्या पुढे अनेक आवृत्त्या तर निघाल्याच, शिवाय त्यातल्या कवितांची संख्याही सतत वाढत राहिली. रवी किरण मंडळातले कवी, इतर कवी आणि पुण्यातलं वाङ्मयीन वातावरण त्यात मार्मिकपणे हास्यविषय केलेलं होतं. कवींच्या खटकणाऱ्या वृत्ती प्रवृत्तींवर त्यात मिश्किलपणे भाष्य होतं. याचा परिणाम असा झाला की इतरही काही कवी अशा विनोदी कविता लिहू लागले. मी काही संग्रहांचा उल्लेख करते. कवी मनमोहनांचे 2 संग्रह आहेत. एक शंखध्वनी अथवा बोंबाबोंब, दुसरा अफूच्या गोळ्या. चंग दीक्षित यांचं जुलियनांच्या सुधारकवर आधारित कॉलेजचे विडंबन करणारे खंडकाव्यच आहे आणि त्यामध्ये विनोद बरोबर आलेला आहे मार्मिकपणे. तसंच त्यांचं बाणगुळ हेही एक कविता संग्रहाचं पुस्तक आहे विनोदी. गाजराच्या पुंग्या हे संपादित पुस्तक आहे. संपादक कोण तर R.B. समुद्र, अर्थातच हे टोपण नाव आहे. दर्यातील खसखस हे शारदा मंडळाचं प्रकाशन आहे. उपहासिनी हे संपादक D.V. देव यांचं पुस्तक फार महत्वाचं आहे. गोल आपटे यांच्या पुस्तकाचं नाव आहे आपट्याची पाने. शंगो साठे यांच्या पुस्तकाचं नाव आहे चिंचा आणि बोरे. तर बाबुलनाथ यांचं पुस्तक आहे मुंग्यांचे वारुळ. याशिवाय इतरही काहींनी अशा कविता लिहिल्या आहेत. उदाहरणार्थ J.K. उपाध्याय, अनंत काणेकर, वसंत वैद्य. या अशा प्रकारच्या कवितांमधून त्या काळच्या काव्य विश्वाची आपल्याला कल्पना येते. मुक्तछंद हा काव्य प्रकार त्या काळात वादविषय ठरला होता. त्याचं विडंबन केशव कुमारांनी केलं आहेच, तसंच अनंत काणेकरांनीही फार छान केलंय. पगारातला शेवटचा पैसा संपल्यावर या त्यांच्या कवितेत त्यांनी आधुनिक ऍडम आणि इव्ह यांचं संभाषण वापरून मुक्तछंद हास्यास्पद कसा होऊ शकतो हे दाखवून दिलंय. J.K. उपाध्याय यांची चहाटळपणा ही कविता फार मार्मिक आहे. कवी यमकासाठी कसे यतिभंग करतात, म्हणजे शब्द कसे तोडतात, त्याचं त्यांनी मार्मिकपणे हसं केलंय. त्यांनी म्हटलंय, कवितेत जरी यतिभंग जमविले यमक तरी चांग ले किती. नागपूरच्या कवी बोबडे यांची अरे आला कवी धवा पळा ही कविता सुद्धा त्या काळच्या सवंग अशा कवी प्रतिमेचं बरोबर हसं करते. रवी किरण मंडळाच्या कवींनी साधे रोजचे विषय कवितेत आणताना काही वेळेला कविताच गद्य पातळीवर आणली होती. केशव कुमारांनी त्यांच्या त्या प्रवृत्तीचं विडंबन केलंच आहे. तसंच इतरही कवींनी केलंय. गाजराच्या पुंग्यामधल्या काही कवितांची शीर्षकच पहा. हात रुमाल महात्म्य, मिशातला पांढरा केस, केरसुणी. तसंच जुलियनांच्या फारसी थाटणीच्या प्रेमकवितांचं जसं केशव कुमारांनी विडंबन केलंय, तसंच अनंत काणेकरांनीही अफलातून विडंबन केलंय. त्यांचं कवितेचं नाव आहे बेगमेच्या विरह गीताला शिवाजीचे उत्तर. खर तर विनोदी विडंबनपर कविता ही एक प्रकारची वाङ्मयीन टीकाच असते. त्या काळात कवींच्या काव्य गायनाच्या प्रथेमुळे कविता लोकाभिमुख झाली होती, म्हणून त्या लोकप्रिय कवितांच्या विडंबनांना सुद्धा भरपूर दाद मिळाली. केशव कुमारांच्या झेंडूची फुलेवर स्वतः माधवराव पटवर्धनांनी चिकित्सक परीक्षण लिहून दाद दिली होती. मात्र केशव कुमारांच्या कवितांना जसा प्रतिसाद मिळाला तसा सर्व कवींना इतर मिळाला नाही. त्याला अनेक कारणं आहेत. केशव कुमारांच्या कल्पनाशक्तीतला तल्लखपणा आणि काव्यरचनेवरची पकड फार विलक्षण होती. या गोष्टी अनुकरणाने सहज साध्य नव्हत्या. त्यामुळे मराठी काव्य विश्वात विडंबनपर काव्याचा प्रवाह स्वतंत्रपणे रुजू शकला नाही आणि म्हणूनच झेंडूची फुले या पुस्तकाचं स्थान मराठी काव्य परंपरेत अनन्यसाधारणच राहिलं. धन्यवाद.
Atre not only parodied the flaws of construction in poems, but also made fun of the topics chosen for writing poetry, as did he comment on the personality traits of the poets as revealed through their verses. In the same vein, he also penned some original humorous verses. To mock the poet whose poetry I was parodying, or to humiliate them and oust them from the world of poetry was never my intention when writing the Marigold Flowers. I only wanted to point out to the poet and to the readers the flaws that I noticed in the said poet's writings in a light vein, and thus bring about some new entertainment and enjoyment in the field of literature. That was my sole purpose, writes Atre in his preface. I hope you too enjoyed listening to this poetry. Do read all poems in the collection Marigold Flowers, which are fresh even today. The link to its digital version is given below this video. In the next episode of Granthayatra, we will examine the literary creation of a very bright freedom fighter. Until then, keep reading.